We are in the Sefer B'Ha'er Einenu, Enlighten Our Eyes. It's the practical guide to Sheminat HaLashon by Yosef Shlomo Goldschmidt. The book gives all different types of suggestions of how to protect one's eyes. So we're going to be reading from it on a daily basis and sharing with you some ideas of how to protect your eyes. I was also reading the other day about the eye itself and the science behind the eye, of how advanced the eye and the vision is. It's unbelievable. And we'll talk about some of the science in the eye and the power that someone has of not looking at something, how it can actually have a physical effect. I'm going to show you that later on, how by not looking at something, you could physically change it. I'm going to show you a trick that's brought down, and science has proven this. Okay, so it's week 1, Ha'azinu, Sukkot, Yitro, Naso. He breaks up the book on a weekly basis. Introduction, the curtain closing. The 21st century confronts the Jew with unique challenges as never before. The long years of exile are drawing to an end, and the Satan is in his death throes, fighting with all his might before he is to be vanquished forever. As the curtain comes down to the very last act, who will finally win the day? The Satan is desperate to prevail. It is now or never, and this is his last shot. No holds bars, ripped away from all the former standards of modesty or decency. And we, who seek to avoid the impure, feel fragile and vulnerable to provocation and assault. I feel like there's some worldwide conspiracy that's out to suck everyone down into the mud. The method may be subtle and suggestive or shrill and aggressive, but it almost always seems to aim its barbs towards our eyes. It seems like over the last few years, that everything has been to affect Sheminat Einayim and Kedusha. That the amount of immodesty has come to a point where there's almost nothing left, to go after. Living today's race for instant fun and with the prevailing attitude that anything goes, how does a Jew hope to keep his eyes pure and holy when the entire society is against him? The commuter packs his briefcase, the hiker his backpack. Similarly, the Jew who has Inyaneh Kedusha, and in the forefront of his conscience needs to be equipped when he's going somewhere. Being well aware of what might lie out there for a collision course with his eyes, he'll have a plan as well as a backup for minimizing the danger. Okay, so let's read a little bit further. Fundamentals of Sheminat Einayim, Part 1, the power of Torah. Hashem tells us, His beloved children, I created the Yetzer Hara, I created Torah as the antidote. Kiddushin 30. Bet. So what does he say? He says, Barati Yetzer Hara, Barati lo Torah Tavlin. That Hashem created the Torah, He created the spice. What we said yesterday on this is that the Chachamim tried to remove the Yetzer Hara, and when they did, the desire to do things went away. The desire to have children, the chicken didn't produce eggs, I think flowers didn't grow. Certain things didn't happen. And the Chachamim realized that they can't take the Yetzer Hara away just yet. So they took the Yetzer Hara of the Avodah Zarah away. But they kept the Yetzer Hara in and of itself. The Satan's still there. So it's interesting. When God said, Barati Yetzer Hara, Barati lo Torah Tavlin. Tavlin is a spice. Hashem didn't say, I created an antidote to annul the Yetzer Hara. I created you a spice to put on top of him that would make it edible. Hashem knew we can't take the Yetzer Hara just away until the Mashiach comes, and they're not going to do Shehita on the Yetzer Hara just yet. So until then, you need to use Torah Tavlin, just like you put a spice in food. You need to put a spice in this in order to make it palatable and to use the Yetzer Hara to serve God. You have to be tricky. The Yetzer Hara is tricky. You got to be trickier with him than he is with you. He's a zaken, he's a melech. This Yetzer Hara, he's been around for a long time. He knows the trick of the trade. He knows what you're thinking. He knows that the person is a human that goes into an addictive state when he does things often, and he tries to get a person to constantly do the same avon over and over till it becomes a mitzvah. So this Kiddushin Lamed Amud Bet, the Misad Isharim observes that if the Torah is the remedy that which Hashem prescribed, then that's final. Which means if the Torah is the way to solve the Yetzer Hara, then that's the only way. It's not, meaning a person giving tzedakah is not going to destroy the Yetzer Hara. So the only way to destroy the Yetzer Hara is not from tzedakah. It's only coming from limud Torah. That's what he's saying here. The Torah takes away Yetzer Hara. Giving tzedakah, you get beracha, but it's not taking away the Yetzer Hara. You see, there's certain things will annul the other thing. If success will not be possible without it. Torah learning releases profound powers, sheltering the learner from sin. The more involvement in Torah learning, the higher the level of protection. To strengthen your commitment to Torah study, you could use Musad, which turns up your inner fire. Musad is another word for hashkafa. Musad is another word for philosophy. Why not start some new subject or research a topic that happens to interest you? This is called Amelut Batorah. He's telling you here, you know how you remove the Yetzer Hara from looking at the wrong things? Research Torah that interests you. Like you're Yemenite, you like to research things. You're a Bukharian, you research things of Bukhara, of Uzbekistan. By doing that, you're researching Torah that it talks to you. What did the Bukharian rabbis used to do? What were the customs? What were the things of Yemen? What do we do today? How does it connect to Shulchan Aruch? What does Hamavadiyah say? Now, you're always thinking about things that interest you. The Torah is not a far off subject of calculus that you want to just burn down to the ground, Hatz v'shalom, like you do calculus. Okay? A squared plus B squared equals C squared, the Pythagorean theorem. Something that we learned in school. I have absolutely never used it and never will. But they taught it enough times that I can repeat it over after 20 years or 25 years. No. When it comes to the Torah, research the subjects that is interesting to you. If you like halacha, Gemara, Mishnah, by doing that, you're constantly thinking about the Torah and the things that interest you, and you're going to be able to avoid these avonot. This will help you even when you are not in front of a sefer, and when in the street mentally reviewing some Torah thoughts or listening to a Torah lecture will become your portable production. All right, that's this one for today. Enlighten your eyes. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen v'amen.